Long Way Forward. Written by Not That Anon. Luna poured a cup of steaming tea from the teapot. It was her favorite blend, slightly bitter with a herbal aftertaste. The sun lazily cast her rays through the open window, illuminating the modest kitchen. Luna closed her eyes as she did every morning, thinking back to the time when she drank it first, weeks after returning from the moon. Her sister grew to enjoy it, sometime during her absence, but she initially found the taste bland and uninteresting. Perhaps one comes to appreciate it with time, she mused, stirring the liquid in the teapot with an old silver spoon. It was unnecessary. The tea had long since cooled down. Stepping out of the house, Luna took a stroll through the garden, watering the plants along the way with small rain clouds. They didn't need to eat. Not really, but without the garden, they'd have to do away with the morning tea that they both took for granted. It's not like they could buy it from any pony. She walked through the remnants of the collapsed fence, or rather, through the place where the fence used to stand a long time ago, and let her hooves carry her along the familiar path, avoiding all manner of vines and thick roots sprawling across the road. Cutting them down was a waste of time. No matter how far they went, the plants would grow back in a few short decades at most. She entered the park soon enough. The crowds inside made further journey on hoof impossible, so she opened her wings and flew to the center of the park. Though there was no natural wind, she enjoyed gliding through the still air. She always did. It was one of the little things she never grew tired of. Landing by the chessboard, she noticed another of those little things. A torn and faded page from a newspaper she left here for her sister. Placement of the pieces on the board hadn't changed since she had last visited the place either. They always took their time these days, letting matches stretch into months. It was far too early to tell with certainty, but Luna appeared to be in a favorable position. The gazes of the gathered ponies didn't follow her as she left. They were too absorbed in doing nothing. The other houses in the town bore little resemblance to how Luna remembered them. Nature greedily reclaimed the territory, trees and bushes taking an inch after inch like a relentless army. Vines clung to the derelict walls, and larger plants burst inside through the windows, where they would grow over the collapsed ceilings. There was a chance she and her sister could push them back, and for a time that's precisely what they did. Back when they foolishly believed that keeping things from changing could somehow bring back the world they lost. Luna shook her head. The shallowness of that idea echoed in her every hoofstep as she walked through the rubble from 100 ruined buildings. Wherever she went, she saw scores of ponies hewn from the same stone that was once used to build their shelters. They were in the streets and in their houses, poking their muzzles into shops, watching the passers-by from the rooftops, and sticking their heads out from under the ruins. Their number greatly exceeded the population of Ponyville at its peak, but they didn't represent just one generation. Amethyst Star could be found in the market, reaching out with a stone hoof for the stone fruits from her great-great-great-granddaughter's stone stall. Luna hummed her latest ballad. It was a tale of a mare bested at her special talent, who then spent the rest of her life striving to improve. The song ended with the mare successfully running for mayor, something the real Amethyst never mustered the courage for, but always wished she had. It was the most Luna could do for her now, for any of her subjects. A lone tear hit the pavement. The sound of a chisel striking stone reached her long before she saw her destination. It was not a pleasant sound, but she welcomed it all the same. Her throat was getting sore, and anything was better than deafening silence of the once bustling town. She entered a 3-story building that looked like it had been ready to collapse for decades. Nothing could be heard inside, barring the creation of a new sculpture. Celestia worked in silence. "Good evening, sister," Luna greeted her. "Evening." Celestia didn't interrupt her work. "I suppose I've been here longer than I'm planned. We've both been here far longer than any of us planned." "That also is true." Celestia put away her chisel and sighed. "Is there something on your mind, Luna?" "Yes, you are. You've been slipping up." Luna walked to the unfinished statue. "Who is this supposed to be?" "Don't you recognize Bonbon?" Celestia raised a brow. "Well, don't I?" asked Luna. "She prepared the sweets for my first nightmare night, but—" She tapped a stone protrusion on the unmoving mare's head. "I don't recall her having a horn." "She's not— Oh." Luna wrapped a hoof around her sister's neck. "She was dear to me too. Perhaps more than any pony else, given how much how much we owed her and her friends. We've raised them dozens of statues and composed hundreds of songs, but ultimately, vanity of vanities," said the princess. Celestia raised her head, looking into the distance. "Have you ever wondered why?" "I have. And because that's all we can do." Luna turned away and continued with a shaky voice. "Because when you raise the sun, there's no pony left to see it. Because when I enter the dreams, the corridors are all empty. Because it's only the two of us now, Tia." The sisters stood there, wordlessly, in the silent company of 1,000 statues looking at them with a mixture of longing and surprise. The two alicorns weren't all that different from them. A sad story, but also a possibility. They are not immortal in the sense of they can't die. They can't die of old age. But whatever happened to this world, they're all alone. All just alone. That was Long Way Forward, written by Not That Anon. I hope you all enjoyed, and keep watching that moon, everyone. Bye!
We here at Pony&Wolf Productions thank these amazing patrons of ours for their monthly support, without which all of this would not be possible. We sincerely appreciate it, and every dollar helps, is needed, and will be used to keep us going to produce audiobooks for your continued enjoyment. It is, now more than ever, important that you support your favorite creators if possible, due to YouTube changing in a way that is not very friendly to content creators. Especially small content creators, like us. In recent months, the names you see on screen have enabled Midnight and Visual Pony to keep going and only having to sell off part of their belongings to not end up on the street. As an incentive for everyone, Visual Pony has broken a vow and has promised to read and record Fallout Equestria, Murky number 7, should the monthly support reach $1,500. To be clear, this is the absolute minimum amount needed to keep the apartment and all bills paid without starving, while a production of this size is ongoing. The estimated time for this production would be 3 to 4 years, but people already said that Project Horizons was impossible to do, right? And now look who did it, so with Pony&Wolf, you know we can finish the job. For further information on how to support us, please have a look at the description of this video, as there are also other ways, like our merch store. Sincerely and forever yours, your Pony&Wolf team.